KwaZulu-Natal then. And Durban stands to reap significant economic benefits because South Africa is assuming the presidency of the G20. Newzroom Afrika's Nobuhle Modise joins us now live from eThekwini to explain exactly how. And Nobuhle, good morning. As we've heard from Vuyo and Xolani, 230 meetings in the run-up to the G20 in November next year. So these would need venues and places. And some of that boon is likely to go and make its way to some of our locations here in South Africa. What is in it for KwaZulu-Natal?
Indeed, you are right, Iman. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. And you'd know that Durban is no stranger to hosting high-level conferences and meetings. And this is through the Inkosi Albert Luthuli International Conference Center, which was formerly known as the Durban ICC. And they've hosted high-level meetings before. I mean, going as far back as 1999, where that first meeting was the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. There was also the Non-Aligned Movement in 2004. And obviously that International AIDS Conference in the year 2000 and again in 2016. And then there's also that famous, we hosted the famous preliminary draw of the 2010 FIFA World Cup and the final draw for the 2013 African Cup. So this is nothing new. You'd also remember that COP17 was also held here in KwaZulu-Natal. So if you ask them of capacity and whether they're ready to take this on and also want a piece of the pie in terms of hosting some of those meetings, they would obviously tell you that they are very capable of doing that. But let's perhaps bring in to the conversation the acting mayor of eThekwini, Nkosenhle Madlala, and maybe speak to him about why Durban. What makes Durban the strategic location for hosting some of these G20 meetings? Thank you very much, Bab Madlala.
No, thank you very much. As you have correctly mentioned, that Durban has hosted some of the prestigious events internationally. One to note is the COP17. I'm saying so because of the nature of the part of the G20 conference that we are hosting this time around. So we have the venues, we are a strategic location, but it's also important because of the nature of the conference that we are launching, we are hosting the disaster risk reduction working group. That is the part of the G20 summit that we are hosting. You know that as Durban, we've been victims of the many disasters associated with climate change, and therefore the delegates that are going to be coming in are not only going to be discussing and talking from research and all of that, but they can also go out to site and see the damage that has been done and see areas where we've actually rebuilt some of the infrastructure and all of that. One of the issues that has featured largely in the last COP meeting was that big countries did not live up to the commitments that they made around making the finances available to cities for climate action reduction and all of that. Now we hope that we are going to leverage this conference to be able to maybe get some of that, but also push the agenda of cities. You'll know that this is not only a conference hosted by South Africa, but it's hosted by Africa. And therefore, when we speak in that conference, we'll be speaking for the rest of Africa, which is affected by disasters as a result of climate change, but not because of the fault of their own, because we're not one of the worst polluters. It's the Western countries that have polluted, but we are living through the disasters. And therefore, we hope that Durban is strategic in terms of the transportation. We have one of the best airports in terms of the hotels. We have some of the best in the world. In terms of a conference venue, ICC is an international award-winning conferencing venue, and therefore that is why Durban.
And then let's maybe speak of the economic spin-offs for the province. What kind of boost is expected for the Durban tourism sector during and after these meetings?
We are hosting the more than 20 ministers from developed countries, and we hope that they will arrive through our own airport here at King Shaka. They will sleep in our hotels. They'll walk around. Durban tourism is ready to take them during their breaks to all our tourism offerings, and therefore we are happy with that. You'll know that we are competing with two cities basically, being your Johannesburg and your Cape Town. And every time we have an event, we get an opportunity to showcase Durban as an alternative to those cities, or as an addition to those cities, to people who want to come and travel, to have conferences, or in terms of tourism. Therefore, it's going to be a huge boost to our tourism industry, having these ministers come through with the huge delegations that we hope to entertain.
Thank you very much. That is Nkosenhle Madlala, who is the acting mayor of the eThekwini municipality, just speaking on the economic spin-offs and also how they're planning to leverage as a province with regards to these meetings. You heard him there speaking of accountability, and interestingly, Xolani would have spoke about the fact that this particular the group of 20 it comes into question because it can't be held accountable for some of the decisions that are made there. But you heard him there saying that they're hoping to leverage, especially when it comes to issues of climate action.
Well, Durban is my hometown, so I'm looking forward to everything that we laid on to make it guest ready, Nobuhle, and to recover post all of these weather events. Thank you. Nobuhle Modise in KZN.